Hello, my name is Father Charlie Bouchard, and I'm here in St. Louis to offer you a word of hope on the readings for Monday, January 13th. If you've seen the television series The Chosen, and I highly recommend that you do so, it's captivating. It is now in its fourth season. And if you've watched it, you know that at the very beginning there is a scene in which Simon Peter and his brother Andrew are out there mending their nets because they were fishermen. And they were ordinary men doing very ordinary things for their time. There was absolutely nothing extraordinary or unusual about what they were doing. And yet then something extraordinary happened. Jesus came along and he called Simon and his brother to follow him. Now that in itself wasn't that unusual. I'm sure there were many people seeking disciples in those days. The extraordinary part is that these two fishermen accepted that call. They left their nets and they followed Jesus. And others later, John and James and Matthew, they were called by Jesus, and they too left what they were doing and followed Jesus to become the first disciples and apostles. I mention this because right now we are on Monday of the first week of ordinary time. We're through with all the extraordinary activities of Thanksgiving and Advent and Christmas and Epiphany, and yesterday the baptism of the Lord. And we're now entering back into just plain old ordinary time, doing ordinary things. And it's probably important for us to ask, well, what does this mean for us spiritually? It means, I think, for one thing, that we should pay closer attention to the world around us. You know, if you watch The Chosen, and as we go through those steps of the gospel, we see the disciples constantly amazed at the extraordinary results of the ordinary things that Jesus was doing. His ordinary encounters with people, his ordinary conversations, and yet extraordinary things happened because of that. And the disciples began to realize that his call to them and his own ministry was not about fireworks. It was not about a great cosmic explosion, but rather it was about an ordinary thing becoming extraordinary. And they paid very close attention. So I think as we move into this season, one thing that we can do as ordinary people doing ordinary things is to pay attention, to sometimes take a moment to just step back from whatever we're doing, whether it's childcare or ministry or teaching or plowing streets, which we've been busy doing here in St. Louis, or watching a basketball or a football game. Just step back and pay attention to what's really happening on the screen, in your heart, and especially pay attention to what the Lord might be trying to say to you in those very ordinary moments and ordinary activities. Someone, I think it might have been the author Annie Dillard, once said, "God's grace is bursting into the world all around us. The least we can do is pay attention." And in this season of ordinary time, that's exactly what I suggest you do.